Since the coming of the Aborigine, unknown ages in the past, Lake Tyers in East Gippsland has certainly been one of his most favoured places. Calm salt lakes for fishing, fresh water, and a bushland teeming with the wildlife he hunted. This all changed with the coming of the white man, but for 110 years the area has given protection to thousands of these dispossessed people. Over the years, conditions have varied greatly, from tragically bad to the conditions of recent years, when modern housing and farming techniques have given residents a new morale and a new dignity. And today, a new stage has been reached, claimed by some to be a milestone in the relationship between the black and the white in Australia. This afternoon, in bitterly cold conditions, the 92 residents of the Lake Tyers settlement become the joint owners of some 4,000 acres of the former reserve. The Governor, Sir Rowan Delacombe.
The Aboriginals living at Lake Tyers have the opportunity to take a major step forward on behalf of others of our race throughout the whole of Australia. And as Her Majesty's representative, I'm proud to have this honour to present the chairman of the Lake Tyers Aboriginal Trust, the first land title of the Aboriginal reserves in Australia. Mr. Carter, I express my sincere wish that history will record that today was a turning point in Aboriginal affairs. I wish you, your people, peace, prosperity, and happiness.
You don't know how great this is. For me to hold this up here and say this, we are proud. Look, we won't let this down. Look, we'll never ever let these down. Just remember this. This land is our land, and it's for all Aboriginals. The cemetery, the church, the community hall, it's all free. And this is what I fought for. And look, I'm the proudest man of them all. I don't care how you say it. But I can hardly say that. It's just only them. Look, I'm very proud. And may this help the rest of our Aboriginals throughout Australia, up in Queensland, Western Australia, all throughout Australia. Because, look, after all said and done, none of you white fellas ever discovered Australia. We was here before that. This is go for Bruce, Evan, and everyone else. Look, no one can tell me this, because we was here first. It was never discovered by any white European. It was our land from the start. And look, you taught me to drink, you taught me to smoke, you taught me everything. Right? Look, I'm not holding back any punches. Because I'm a proud man, I'll tell you straight out now, because it don't worry me one bit. And I thank you one and all for listening. Thank you very much.
The title creates a trust comprised of all the residents of the Lake Tyers settlement. Each adult gets 1,000 shares and each child 500. The shares have a face value of $10. Many of these people are the ones who defied the government's attempt to disband the reserve in 1965 and 67. 1,000 acres of the land is cleared, with about 800 acres in good pasture. They're grazing 1,400 sheep and nearly 300 beef cattle. But the farm will provide work for only 4 of these 17 family men. On cattle work are Philip and Conway Fenton. They volunteered for farm work and have been trained by Agriculture Department field workers. In a similar position are Herbert and Connolly Bull, here working the sheep. The men will receive award wages from the Settlement Trust, and like all other shareholders, they'll get their cut of the annual profit from the whole land. The 17 breadwinners all have jobs, all but 3 of them directly associated with their own land. For instance, one operates the settlement bus. 2 are on contract timber cutting in their own forest. 5 are on the maintenance of buildings and other trust works. and another is the community's butcher. One man works in a neighbouring town, which he's done for some time, and 3 are employed by the ministry on maintenance work throughout East Gippsland. One woman cleans the trust offices and another operates the community's shop. At the start, some of the young men will have to find jobs outside, but a plan to use part of the land as a tourist resort could reabsorb them within the settlement. Handicrafts will be featured, things like the boomerang, which for Watty Pepper have been a good sideline for years. At the request of the Trust, the Tourist Development Authority has advised on plans for a boating, fishing, camping holiday centre. It will be run by the Aborigines. Work has already begun on an access road to replace the 8 miles of winding track. The Act of Parliament entitling the Aborigines to this land is said to be unique among native land acts in any country, in that it gives them the right to sell their own land. However, at their own request, conditions are very strict. A share can only be offered to the Trust, to a federal or state government, to another member of the Trust or a relative. Only if it is not taken up by any of these can it be offered to sale to anyone else. Trust land can only be alienated to other use by a unanimous vote of a quorum of half the membership. Peter Baster with the Aboriginal owners of Lake Tyers for ABC National News. I found that this scene, the pulling down of condemned and unwanted buildings, is typical of the new Lake Tyers settlement, a sweeping away of the old. And I found that old applies to ideas as well as to decrepit buildings. When it was formed 12 months ago, the Victorian Ministry of Aboriginal Affairs adopted as a general policy the following proposition. The Ministry rejects paternalism and expediency and espouses a program which will lead ultimately to self-determination by Aborigines, to a situation which will stimulate Aborigines to take the initiative in their own affairs. What do the settlers think of the new situation here at Tyers?
Well, I think that at Lake Tyers now is a better situation than it was when the welfare board had it. But since the new Aboriginal Affairs took over Mr. Worthy and his mob, he's been a good man. He's done everything for our people, and we got a better situation now. You seen the house that we wrecked just now? We were glad to wreck it because we in better homes now. We got every living.
Right about it. They quite happy about it the way they stand, because in the old houses they never had the hot water system and that, and no line, and the place wasn't big enough for them and their families, and now they're quite happy. They even got the septic toilets, and some of them got washing machines, and they're quite happy. They got bathrooms to bath their children, because one time ago, well, they used to have to walk a long way, and I used to have a bath in a galvanised tub, and that wasn't big enough. I couldn't walk down.
The settlement covers 4,000 acres. It supports 15 families, about 80 people. A quarter is being farmed, and another 100 acres of scrub and trees is being cleared. I talked with the farm manager, Mr. John Buchanan.
Few years we'll have a tremendous amount of work, clearing, fencing, renovating old pastures, works of that nature. Will keep them all busy. Also, of course, we'll be diversifying our production into pigs and poultry. This will absorb more labour. There'll be no trouble using all the men we have.
What stopped here has been rehousing. Those 50-year-old two-room shacks had no running water and shared a community bathhouse, half a mile away, way down beyond the hill on the shore of the Western Arm. See how this policy is being applied here at Lake Tyers in East Gippsland, once the centre of great public criticism and controversy. Some time ago, a settlers' council was set up. Its chairman is Charlie Carter. Are identical with those provided for the staff. 7 have been built, and 2 more will go up in the next few months to replace the remaining shacks. Like these, have been provided by reconditioning and reconstructing some of the existing places. Rents vary from a minimum of $2 to a maximum of $5, and tenants can be evicted.
Right now, one time ago we used to, sleep anywhere, on the floors, and camping out. We had a very rough time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Now, what about...
You work for yourself, you can buy something for yourself, and you say it's John, all that. But before, see, we didn't have enough money and all that, but now we've got plenty of money, we work harder for it, we get more money for it.
And what about conditions?
Lately, very good.
Yeah.
And I think the people here, our coloured people, they're better off. You know what I mean? They not so bad as it was when I was here.
What do you mean better? In all groups of Aborigines, someone makes boomerangs. And they're made in the style of the old people, as they call their ancestors, from a curved root or a curved branch, not cut out with a bandsaw from a flat piece of wood. The Lake Tyers region made a almost right angle boomerang, quite different from those made in other parts of the country. Peter Baster at Lake Tyers for ABC National.